we're going to make it a great deal, or we'll just go back and finish it off militarily. But this would go faster. It's probably better on a humane standpoint. There's something nice about it also. You know, save a lot of lives. Whether it's the other side or not, you save a lot of lives. But we're close to a very good deal, and if we can make it good, otherwise we just start up with the Department of War. I would rather get a deal because we can open the strait immediately upon signing.
President Trump reportedly sending Iran a revised peace framework with tougher terms as he reaffirms this deal will ultimately save lives. Our next guest, born and raised in Iran, who fled with her family to the U.S. during the 1979 revolution, Dr. Nazee Moinian, joins us now. So great to have you this morning. Thank you for joining us. So the Trump administration is faced with something of a kind of a victim of their own success, in that it's kind of hard to tell at the moment who to even negotiate with in Iran.
Well, thank you. Good morning to everyone. Thanks for having me. It is hard to see and figure out who's in charge in Iran, but my hunch is that the IRGC has been increasingly in charge in Iran, whether Mojtaba Khamenei has been in power for the past 3 months or not. It's been increasingly a militarized state, and I think at this point they're calling the shots.
Do those developments make it more likely or less likely that the president will be able to arrive at some kind of peace deal that will be acceptable to the president?
I think in this scenario, I think the president is in charge. You know, he has kept the same posture throughout the entire ordeal with Iran, which is you don't have the cards. We will try to hurt you economically, militarily. Your Navy's at the bottom of the sea. Those are all facts. You know, we have huge leverage on Iran. There is no reason for us to rush into a deal, let alone a semi-okay deal, maybe a JCPOA 2.0. That's not desirable. I think what he's doing, he's signaling strategic ambivalence or calculated aloofness, whatever it is. You take your time. We're in a position of strength. Come back to us when you're ready. Obviously,
and, you know, all dictators around the world calculate this in dealing with American presidents, but you do have domestic politics. This is not a terribly popular war. It may be a necessary one, but it's not terribly popular. Obviously, people don't like to see gas prices go up. It is an election year. But do you feel like the pressure there's still more pressure on the IRGC to come up with something than there is for the president to come up with something?
Absolutely. Iran is under extreme pressure. I mean, there's not a match of firepower between the United States, Israel, and Iran. The economies are not matching. You know, the institutions that we have are non-existent in Iran. It's basically a mafia state in charge of the Strait of Hormuz. So I'm not worried about the political landscape in this country. I think the president, he's taking his time, but he's also aware that the midterms are around the corner. But he's betting on the fact that the Americans are willing to suffer a bit of more expensive oil prices for a longer, better deal. We want a permanent solution to this problem. If we cannot overturn the regime, the best next option is to have a deal that's ironclad.
Yeah. Well, and of course, you know, it is incumbent upon the president to make the case that this is an America first, part of an America First agenda, especially, you know, considering that many of his supporters, and he ran on a campaign of getting out of wars. And obviously, this is one that is, you know, he's making the argument that this is an existential threat. I want to ask you about, I know that you and your family fled Iran in '79, but I'm sure you still have extended family there, and you still know people who live there. And living under Iran, the Iranian dictatorship is a terrible thing under any circumstances. But I would imagine that it's probably gotten even worse over the past 6 months. What do you hear from the people you know back home?
Thanks for asking that question. It's always good to bring the Iranian people in as part of the calculus of what's happening in the Gulf. We shouldn't forget ever that they gave their lives, between 30 to 40,000 people, for wanting the same things we take here in this country for granted. So Iranians are suffering, but strangely enough, and it's something that probably none of us can relate to, they are happier being bombed for the hope of living under a democratic Iran than for the pressure from U.S. and Israel to stop and having to endure 47 more years of this regime. This is a mafia state that in its core wants to replace and replant the Western civilization with a global Islamic caliphate. We should not forget that. I don't mean to sound like a warmonger or a hawk. For those Iran watchers like me who have observed Iranians, the Iranian regime for the past 25 years. At its core, this is, we call it a hardline, but
right.
It's a principleless regime. It's a regime that wants to stay in power at any cost.
Real quickly, supposedly we've heard that the IRCG has allowed the internet, some internet access to return. Those people that you talked to back home, have you had any actual communication with them in the past couple of weeks?
I've had, but it's very much, it comes and goes. The internet is not fully on, unfortunately, for the Iranian people. Of course, since the massacres began, the Iranian elite have been able to use the internet with no problem. There's not much they can say. They know that the regime is observing them and probably listening on their calls. But also from the people who have left Iran to the other countries in order to be able to take a flight out from Armenia or from Turkey, anywhere else, they're saying the economy is really in bad shape. Joblessness is terrible. Medicine is in a shortage. And again, it behooves me how this 80 million people that are against the regime out of the 92, say about 80% to 90% of the people want this regime gone, are so resilient. They're so determined that this is the end of the road for the regime. And they're hoping for this thing to have a great outcome.
Well, Dr. Moinian, thank you so much for your perspective on all this.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.